All right, welcome back to Boring Reviews, the professional here. Ooh, a woman, a few words. How did I get so lucky? And we are here ready to check out. You broke there. Ready to check out some more WILTY. That's the signal.
I'm sorry. I missed the signal that it was appropriate for me to talk now.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
I gave it twice. She's very quick. Or won't he? What I like to hear. And we're checking out Tony. Who is Tony? Is he a pizza guy? Is he my former best friend when I was a kid? I have no idea. But this is David, could be David Mitchell's bedtime storyteller. Ooh. Sally Phillips' uncle, or Rhod Gilbert's badminton partner. Which one do you think it's gonna be? Okay.
Just didn't know if I was allowed to talk to him or not.
I've given you the signal twice.
Someone made the comment of, as he was joking. He's like, don't comment unless I give you the signal too.
You don't gotta explain it to him. Let him feel the awkwardness.
Really?
It's all good. Let him be worried. Ooh, Nick, you're in trouble. Let those comments roll in, baby. Helps the algorithm. Which one do you think it is? Okay. She was talking, then she stopped. Can't keep track. All right, I need a signal.
Okay, so Tony is my ex-boyfriend. We dated very briefly. He had invited me out, and I didn't want to say no, so I said yes. We went on a couple dates. He thought we were boyfriend, girlfriend. I mean, maybe it's a loose term. And then he kissed me, and I said,
loose term?
No. I said, I'm really, really sorry. I can't get over I'm not over my ex right now, so we're just going to have to, stop. And it's really because he was a terrible kisser, and I didn't want to tell him that.
Then he kissed me. Okay.
That's who Tony is.
Oh, I was wondering. Now I know.
Mm-hmm.
Reaction over.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to see who he is according to WILTY. And if you like our reaction, please don't forget to...
Can I talk now?
Yep.
Like this video.
Permission given.
Would you like me to continue?
Permission granted.
Hit that subscribe button. And don't forget about the notification bell in the corner so that you can be aware of our next uploaded video.
I don't really think those notification bells work by any chance, but, click it anyway, see what happens. This is Tony. He's a guy I saw down the street take out his trash every day. Every week.
Until it was the body.
Every month. And there was never any trash in it. It was very weird. All right.
That is very weird.
I agree. That's why he's being featured tonight.
Makes sense.
Me. Welcome, Tony. Rhod, what is Tony to you?
This is Tony, and for 5 years he was my badminton doubles partner.
Sally, what is your relationship with Tony?
This is my uncle Tony, and last year I asked to have a go on his mobility scooter, and I drove it into a pond and wrote it off.
Right. Finally, David, how do you know Tony?
This is Tony, and when I was little, he used to help me get to sleep by telling me bedtime stories about the war.
Isn't that lovely? There we are. So, Rhod's badminton buddy, Sally's scooterless uncle, or David's bedtime storyteller. Lee, before you start asking, I'm going to bring a chair on for you, and you can have a lovely sit down there. There we are. You relax there.
I
Lee.
just need to apologize. I'm not laughing at him. He seems like a very
we know
sweet
what you're
guy.
laughing at.
Because he's my ex-boyfriend.
You're full of crap.
Couldn't kiss.
Sally, does he use the mobility scooter a lot?
Quite a lot. He's had 2 hip replacements.
So he can get by without the fact that he walks on
Yes.
fine tonight.
Yeah,
is-
sure.
Can get by.
I don't think they're just for old people. I've got a bath with a door. I think it's nice.
That was more a DIY mishap, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it's nice. Just open the door, step in, wait for 19 or 20 minutes while it slowly fills up in the freezing cold. I think it's lovely.
Why did you take the mobility scooter in the first place?
Because I was going to play a psychopath in a film, or a psychopath on a mobility scooter. And I said, can I have a go? Because I can't drive a car.
Sally, how far did you drive before you went into the pond? What was the distance?
I didn't know I had it in reverse.
So you were very close to the pond?
So I wasn't far from the pond, but it was facing that way.
Right.
And I took it out of park the wrong way and went backwards.
And was
into
your
the
uncle
pond.
with you at the time?
Yes.
How much instruction did Tony give you before you got on the mobility scooter?
Well, that he thought, as he said afterwards over tea, many, many times, that it was quite self-evident how one drove this thing. He said all it had was it's got a little, you know, gear tiller, and he thought that even a nincompoop...
Backwards or forwards, that's about
Did you
it.
say gear tiller?
Yes, well...
That's a nautical expression. But you obviously felt, on some subconscious level, more comfortable at sea.
She did say she was not on a drive, so I could see that.
Did you buy your Uncle Tony another mobility
I did.
scooter?
How much was that mobility scooter?
Yes, how much was that mobility scooter?
It was £1,500.
For a brand new mobility
For a
scooter?
brand new one?
Yes, because it...
Hang
yes,
on, is that right, Des?
Well, they're expensive, those things.
Should we move on to Rhod?
How long ago were they that you were playing badminton as doubles?
That we were doubles partners?
Yes. How many years
10,
ago?
15 years?
You were... and when did this end? When did this end?
We had to stop because I was getting on a bit.
And how did your partnership begin?
Well, we played for the same club.
What was the club called?
It was in West London.
West London, go on.
Yeah,
You can't remember the name of the club?
It was called Old Actonians.
Oh, that Todian's Badminton Club.
Well, yes.
Did you wear the full gear, short shorts and, you know, looking...
No, I wore a miner's helmet and he wore a frogman's outfit. Of course we did,
Did you ever win anything yourself and Tony?
We won a lot, yeah.
And why did you come about playing together then? Why didn't you go for someone, no disrespect to Tony, why didn't you go for someone a bit
Because
more...
we complimented each other's game.
When you say you complimented each other's game, you went, you're good, so are you. Come on.
Out of you two badminton players, Rhod, who would you say was the better?
Tony was a much, much better player than me. Tony played for England.
This started out, we were just knocking around in a West London club. Now, he is the Rafael Nadal of badminton.
Why, if he played for England,
Yeah.
and he was so good,
Yeah.
why is he choosing you to partner him?
I think it would be fair, and Tony wouldn't mind me saying that when I played with him, he'd have been probably in his, I think he was in his early 70s.
Whoa, when you were playing with him?
When I was playing with him, yeah.
OK. The prime age for badminton. particularly international level. OK, David, what's your connection with Tony? What's your
He lived next door when I was little.
And he read your bedtime stories?
He'd occasionally babysit for me and my brother, and...
It's feasible.
Made up, or was it... This was just his stories from the war?
Not out of a book, but ostensibly true.
Did he ever just shout them through
yes,
the
I
wall?
think-
Surrounded by Germans, and so, basically, I'm trying to get to sleep. I don't care!
How old were you?
I think I would have been...
23.
I think it's around the time I was sort of 5, 6, 7, that sort
It
of...
could happen. I had another neighbour who would sing me nursery rhymes and bounce me on the knee and...
Am I the only one who had parents? Well, what's going on here?
I think perhaps what it was, Lee, with you, is that your parents found it very hard to find any other adult who was willing to take sole responsibility for you. Now, let me ask you this. Would Tony ever come round, not for babysitting, but just to tell you some of these stories? Or would it only happen when he was babysitting?
I think it started when he was babysitting, but he'd come round quite a bit anyway with my parents.
David, you just did an upwards inflection. I've never heard you do that before. That's so not like you.
Right?
Sometimes he would come round anyway. What's happened to you?
I'm on national television. I'm getting a bit defensive about talking about my abuse-ridden childhood. That's all.
If all the war more stories that he told you that helped you go to sleep.
Yeah.
What would you say was your favourite?
Well, I think the thing that I found most interesting was the story Tony told about his mother, who during the war worked in the library in Oxford.
This is the interesting one.
What she had to do was they had to compile and analyse and place photographs of the Japanese coastline.
I'll tell you what, it's getting better. Carry on.
In preparation for an invasion of Japan.
And you said, thank you, as a 5-year-old.
I mean-
That's very interesting.
No, because by the end of the story, I was asleep.
It's time for an answer, Lee.
Lee Mack was like getting a lot of energy there. Keep talking. The one girl like touching his back, like, can I say something?
And she would just interrupt him sometimes too. Go her.
Yeah. What do you think?
I, at the very beginning, wanted to believe the mobility chair one, so I'm sticking with that one. I can definitely see him being a next door neighbor, babysitting kids, telling them stories. But at the same time, I liked her story of the fact that she doesn't know how to drive. So it would be natural that she would go in reverse, not realizing it, in this mobility chair. And the way he was sitting did seem like he was uncomfortable. First, he had both his legs like straight out. And then he had one leg straight out and the other one was pulled in. Almost like he is kind of stiff or, needs that. I don't know. But also, I like the idea that she had a mishap going reverse in a pond. And likewise, so did I. Have a mishap with going reverse instead of straight while having a boat on a trailer that detached. Because I was going reverse on gassing it, thinking I was going up a hill and saw my brake and popped off. So I'm going with that story.
Okay. That one definitely seems very, very plausible.
But
I also believe the David Mitchell one.
yeah.
I want to believe the Badminton one. I really don't, but I think it'd be cool if he did at one point play for England.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly could somewhat accept any of them. I was going to lean more towards the mobility chair as well. She was laughing along, this or that. But I'm going to say David Mitchell, just to be different.
Oh, look at you
But
picking
I
up on my
do
thing.
think it's the mobility thing.
Let's see.
But I was sticking with David Mitchell.
I say you gotta stick with it.
Is Tony...
I'm still trying to get the idea in my head of just passing David's door and hearing a manic cycling. I mean, obviously, with the coastal line of Tokyo, it's very hard to determine whether we should have a land invasion or by... Oh, you're asleep. Oh, OK.
My job is
Night. Sleep tight. Don't let the Japanese invade.
I think Rhod, we can discount. There were too many flaws.
I agree with you.
So
I think it's one of the
offended.
other two. And I got a horrible feeling that it's David in the middle there.
I know which one David is.
All right, what about the mobility scooter with Sally?
Have you ever taken your driving test?
No, I've never even taken it.
Never learned to drive.
You can't emphasise the word even if it's the same thing. Have you ever taken your driving test? I've not even taken it.
So Lee's team, is Tony Rhod's badminton buddy, Sally's scooterless uncle, or David's bedtime storyteller? What are you going to say?
It's not Rhod.
It is. That's what you're going for.
Sally.
Sally.
I think David.
And in a weird way, I've now gone back to Rhod.
Thank you.
You can see it in his little Welsh eyes. In his little devious Welsh eyes. And trust me, if there's one thing I know about working on this show, it's a little devious Welsh eyes. Rhod or Sally?
Or Sally?
It's Sally.
Sally?
Yeah, it's Sally.
It's Sally.
Sally, right. Tony, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Tony, and Rhod was my badminton
Wow!
What? No! You played it off with a laugh and everything.
Tony was Rhod's badminton doubles partner. Tony, thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
Wow!
Yeah, I'm not done.
That is crazy.
I love it. Because he played it off well with like the laugh and stuff.
Yeah, when
almost
he
like this is
laughed about he
ridiculous.
played for England, it was almost like, okay, you went a little too far there.
Yes. But
Wow.
wow, that is cool. I didn't think in a million years that's what it was.
I honestly thought it was plausible because it's just so crazy it could make sense, but I didn't. Obviously, I picked the last of the three. This is probably one of the first time in a long time where all three of them could be it, even though the one that was it was the most ridiculous one.
Yes.
But there you go. You can't. It goes to show you can't just judge a book by its cover,
No.
something by its age. especially like in the state he's in right now, where he just does not look like he could play a game of badminton. But that's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's cool. They found him and they got him on the show. It was 15 years later, and it was cool that they did not believe Rhod at all.
Nope.
Besides Lee.
At the end, it's a beady little Welsh eyes.
Devious.
Devious. Just kidding. Devious.
Well, thank you so much for watching our reaction to this. Hopefully you got it right, because we did not. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time.
Goodbye.